Have you ever walked into someone's home and felt like you instantly understood something about them? Before they even said a word? Maybe the space felt calm and minimal. Maybe it was full of photos, books, and half-finished projects. Or maybe it was spotless, almost too perfect. It turns out that feeling isn't random. Psychologists who study how environments shape human behavior say our homes quietly broadcast clues about our personality, emotional state, and even the way we relate to other people. Without realizing it, the way we decorate becomes a kind of psychological fingerprint. And once you know what to look for, it becomes surprisingly hard to unsee. Environmental psychologists have spent decades studying something called the extended self. The idea is simple but powerful. People don't just live in their environments. They express themselves through them. Your home becomes a physical extension of your identity. The colors you choose, the way objects are arranged, how much space you leave empty, or how much you fill, each of these choices reflects deeper psychological preferences. In other words, decorating isn't just about style, it's about signaling who we are. But here's where things get interesting. The signals your home sends aren't always the ones you think you're sending. A room you believe looks cozy might actually signal emotional attachment to the past. A perfectly organized living room might signal discipline, or it might signal anxiety about control. A minimalist apartment might signal independence or emotional distance. Psychology doesn't judge these choices, but it does reveal what they tend to mean. Let's start with one of the strongest psychological signals in any home: clutter. Clutter is one of the most researched aspects of environmental psychology because it has such a powerful effect on both mood and perception. When researchers observe cluttered homes, they often see patterns linked to creativity, emotional memory, and cognitive openness. People who keep many objects around, books, souvenirs, artwork, projects, often score higher on openness to experience, one of the major personality traits psychologists study. Think about that for a moment. When someone's home is full of objects, it often means their mind is full of ideas, interests, and emotional connections. Those objects aren't just decorations. They are reminders of experiences, travels, conversations, and aspirations. Each one holds meaning. But there's another side to clutter that psychologists also notice. When clutter becomes overwhelming, piles instead of collections, it can sometimes signal something deeper: decision fatigue. People who struggle to discard objects may not be sentimental. They may simply be mentally overloaded. The brain treats every object as a tiny decision: keep it, move it, organize it, ignore it. Multiply that by hundreds of objects, and you create a constant low-level mental noise. And that noise affects mood. Studies show that high clutter environments can increase cortisol levels, the hormone associated with stress, which means the room you relax in might actually be quietly keeping your brain on alert. Now compare that with the opposite extreme: minimalism. Minimalist spaces send a very different psychological signal. When you walk into a home with large empty surfaces, simple furniture, and very few decorative objects, your brain immediately interprets something important: intentional control. Minimalist homes tend to belong to people who value clarity, independence, and mental order. But minimalism also communicates social signaling. A minimalist home often signals that the person prioritizes experiences over possessions. It says without words, "I choose what matters carefully." However, psychologists have found something surprising about extremely minimalist spaces. When minimalism becomes very strict, almost sterile, it can sometimes reflect emotional distancing. Objects carry memories, photos carry relationships, personal items create warmth. Removing too many of them can make a space feel visually calm, but emotionally quiet. That's why the most psychologically balanced homes usually fall somewhere between clutter and minimalism. They contain meaningful objects, but not so many that the environment overwhelms the mind. Now let's talk about another decorating choice that reveals more about personality than most people realize: color. Color psychology is one of the most fascinating areas of environmental research because colors trigger emotional responses before we consciously think about them. Within milliseconds, your brain associates colors with mood states. People who decorate with cooler colors, blues, soft greens, muted tones, often score higher in emotional stability. These colors reduce visual stimulation and create a calming atmosphere. Bedrooms painted in cooler shades are often associated with better sleep quality because the brain interprets the environment as safe and restful. On the other hand, homes filled with bold colors, deep reds, vibrant yellows, bright contrasts, often belong to people who score higher in extroversion. These environments stimulate energy and conversation. Restaurants frequently use warm colors for exactly this reason. They subtly encourage social interaction. But here's the subtle detail most people miss. It's not just the color itself that matters. It's how consistently those colors appear throughout the home. When color schemes are coordinated across rooms, psychologists often interpret that as a sign of long-term planning and structured thinking. When every room has a completely different style, it often reflects a personality that values exploration and novelty. Neither is better. They simply tell different psychological stories. Now consider something that most people never think about: object density. Object density refers to how many items exist within a given visual space. Some homes have large open surfaces, coffee tables with nothing on them, shelves with just a few objects. Other homes fill every available space with decor. This small detail changes how people perceive you in ways you may not expect. Homes with low object density tend to signal confidence and status. In psychology, empty space often communicates that a person feels secure enough not to display everything they own. Luxury homes and high-end interior design often rely on this principle. Fewer objects, more breathing room. High object density sends a different signal. It communicates warmth, storytelling, and lived experience. Visitors often describe these homes as interesting or cozy because every object invites curiosity. You see a book, a sculpture, a framed photo, and each one suggests a story waiting to be told. But density also affects attention. When rooms contain many objects, the brain must process more visual information. That's why people sometimes feel energized in richly decorated spaces, but mentally tired after long periods inside them. Now let's look at another subtle but powerful psychological signal: symmetry and formality. Take a moment to imagine two living rooms. In the first room, everything is symmetrical. The couch sits perfectly centered. Two identical lamps sit on either side. Pillows are arranged evenly. Everything feels balanced. In the second room, objects are arranged more casually. A chair sits slightly angled. Books are stacked unevenly. Decorations feel spontaneous rather than precise. These arrangements reveal very different psychological preferences. People who arrange their homes symmetrically often score higher in conscientiousness. This personality trait is associated with planning, discipline, and a desire for order. Symmetrical environments make the brain feel stable because patterns are predictable. More casual arrangements, on the other hand, often signal creativity and adaptability. The environment feels dynamic rather than controlled. Psychologists sometimes describe these spaces as alive because they evolve naturally instead of being perfectly maintained. And here's the fascinating part: visitors respond to these signals immediately. Even if they can't explain why, people often describe symmetrical homes as impressive, while casually arranged homes feel more comfortable. Now let's talk about one of the most revealing elements in any home: personal artifacts. Photos, souvenirs, travel items, childhood objects, these are more than decorations. Psychologists call them identity markers. They represent chapters of a person's life story displayed in physical form. Homes with many personal artifacts often belong to people who value connection and memory. These objects anchor identity. They remind the person who they were, where they've been, and what matters to them. Interestingly, research shows that personal artifacts also make visitors feel closer to the homeowner. When guests see photographs or travel souvenirs, they subconsciously feel they are learning something about the person who lives there. In contrast, homes with very few personal artifacts often prioritize aesthetic design over narrative storytelling. These homes can feel visually stunning, but they sometimes reveal less about the person who lives there. Which raises an interesting question. When someone walks into your home, do they see a design or do they see a story? And that question leads to one of the most powerful insights in environmental psychology. Your home doesn't just reflect who you are. Over time, it quietly shapes who you become. Every environment influences behavior. A cluttered desk makes focused thinking harder. A calm room encourages reflection. A vibrant living space invites conversation. The spaces we build slowly train our habits, moods, and relationships, which means decorating isn't just self-expression, it's self-programming. And once you start noticing these patterns, you begin to see homes very differently, not just as places people live, but as psychological maps of how they think, feel, and interact with the world. But the most fascinating signals in a home are often the ones people never intend to send. For example, psychologists studying social perception discovered that visitors can often predict personality traits within seconds of entering someone's home, sometimes with surprising accuracy. And some of the biggest clues aren't what people display, they're what people hide. Because the absence of certain objects, books, photos, hobbies, creative materials can reveal just as much about a person as the things they proudly place on display. And that's where this topic becomes even more interesting. Because once you understand these hidden signals, you start realizing that almost every detail in your home, down to the way a chair is angled or a shelf is arranged, quietly communicates something about you, even if you never intended it to. And in the next part, we're going to dive even deeper into the psychology behind these signals, exploring how lighting, furniture choices, room layout, and even scent influence the way people perceive your personality the moment they step into your home, and how small changes can completely transform the psychological message your space sends. But the most surprising insight of all? Some of the decorating choices people believe make them look impressive actually create the opposite effect psychologically. And once you see why, you may never look at your own living room the same way again. Now, here's where the psychology becomes even more fascinating, because the signals your home sends don't stop at objects, colors, or clutter. Some of the strongest psychological messages come from things people rarely think about at all: lighting, layout, and even scent. These invisible details shape how visitors perceive you within seconds of walking through the door. Let's start with lighting, because it quietly controls the emotional atmosphere of a space more than almost anything else. Psychologists studying environmental perception have consistently found that lighting changes how people judge personality traits. Bright, cool lighting tends to signal productivity and alertness. Spaces with strong overhead lights often feel functional, efficient, and task-oriented. Offices and workspaces frequently use this type of lighting because it keeps the brain stimulated. But in homes, bright overhead lighting can sometimes create an unintended impression. When every corner of a room is strongly illuminated, the environment can feel slightly formal or even tense. It sends the signal that the space is designed for activity rather than relaxation. That's why many psychologists note that homes with layered lighting, lamps, warm bulbs, soft pools of light tend to feel more emotionally inviting. Warm lighting activates a psychological association with safety and intimacy. It mirrors the glow of firelight, something humans evolved around for thousands of years. When visitors walk into a softly lit room, their nervous system literally relaxes. In other words, lighting doesn't just help people see your home, it influences how they feel about you. Now let's move to another powerful signal that most people never consciously notice: furniture layout. The arrangement of furniture reveals a surprising amount about social behavior. Psychologists refer to this as interaction architecture. It's the idea that physical space either encourages or discourages conversation. Think about a living room where all the seating faces a television. The furniture forms a straight line pointed in one direction. In this arrangement, the room communicates something subtle but clear. Shared attention is directed outward toward the screen. Now compare that to a living room where chairs and couches face each other in a loose circle. This layout encourages eye contact. It invites discussion. It signals that the space was designed for human interaction. Researchers observing homes have noticed an interesting pattern. People who arrange furniture to face one another often place a higher value on conversation and relationships. The layout of the room becomes a quiet social cue saying, "This is a place where people connect." But when furniture primarily faces screens, it often reflects the modern reality of entertainment-centered living. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It simply changes the social energy of the room. Another fascinating detail psychologists look at is how flexible a space feels. Some homes have furniture that never moves. Every object has a fixed position. Other homes feel adaptable. Chairs can shift, spaces can transform depending on who visits. Flexible spaces often belong to people who enjoy hosting and spontaneous interaction. Fixed layouts, on the other hand, can signal a preference for structure and predictability. Now let's explore something even subtler: surfaces. Coffee tables, shelves, counters, and desks reveal a lot about how someone thinks. Psychologists studying workplace environments found that surface organization correlates with cognitive style. Some people maintain very clean surfaces. Their desks contain only a few items, perhaps a laptop, a notebook, and one decorative object. This type of environment supports focused thinking because there are fewer visual distractions competing for attention. Other people keep surfaces active and dynamic. Papers, books, sketches, or projects may appear throughout the space. These environments support associative thinking, where ideas connect across multiple interests. In other words, the way your surfaces look may reveal whether your brain prefers focus or exploration. And here's where visitors pick up signals subconsciously. When people enter a room, their brain scans the environment for patterns. Without realizing it, they form quick impressions about the person who lives there. Organized or creative, structured or spontaneous, private or expressive. But one of the most powerful psychological signals in a home is something even more subtle than furniture or lighting. It's scent. Humans often underestimate how strongly smell influences perception, yet scent is one of the fastest ways the brain forms emotional judgments. The olfactory system connects directly to memory and emotion centers in the brain. This means that the smell of a home can create an emotional impression before a visitor even consciously registers it. Homes that smell like food, natural materials, or subtle fragrances often create feelings of warmth and comfort. Baking aromas, coffee, wood, or fresh air trigger associations with safety and hospitality. But overly strong artificial scents can sometimes create the opposite effect. When fragrance becomes overpowering, the brain interprets it as masking something rather than enhancing the environment. That's why psychologists studying hospitality often recommend subtlety. The most welcoming homes tend to smell clean and natural rather than heavily perfumed. Now let's talk about something that reveals personality almost instantly: books. Researchers once conducted experiments where strangers were asked to estimate personality traits simply by looking at someone's bookshelf. Surprisingly, their predictions were often accurate. Books act as intellectual signals. They reveal interests, values, and curiosity. A home filled with books often communicates openness to ideas and lifelong learning. Even the types of books matter: fiction, history, philosophy, science, design. Each category signals a slightly different curiosity about the world. But what's even more interesting is how books are displayed. When books are heavily curated, color-coded, or arranged purely for visual style, they sometimes function more as design objects than intellectual ones. When books appear worn, stacked, and frequently moved, they signal active engagement. Again, neither is right or wrong. They simply tell different stories. Now, here's one of the most surprising findings in environmental psychology. People often believe their homes reveal less about them than they actually do. In multiple studies, observers who spent only a few minutes inside someone's home were able to predict personality traits with surprising accuracy. Traits like openness, conscientiousness, and extroversion left visible traces throughout the environment. This happens because humans naturally shape spaces around their habits. Over time, behavior leaves physical footprints. The mug that always sits on the same table, the chair where someone reads every night, the corner filled with hobby equipment, the photos that remain visible while others get packed away. Each of these details quietly reflects the rhythm of someone's life. And once you understand this, you begin to see decorating in a completely different way. It stops being just about style or trends. It becomes a process of self-reflection. Your home becomes a mirror. But here's the most important insight psychologists emphasize. The goal isn't to create a home that impresses people. The goal is to create a home that supports the person you want to become, because environments shape behavior over time. A peaceful reading corner encourages reflection. A welcoming living room invites conversation. A creative workspace makes it easier to pursue ideas. When you design a space intentionally, you're not just arranging objects, you're shaping daily habits. And that realization leads to a powerful question. If someone walked into your home today, what story would your space tell about you? Would it reveal curiosity, calmness, creativity, connection? Or would it reveal stress, distraction, or habits that no longer represent the person you want to be? The good news is that environments are incredibly flexible. Small changes, moving furniture, reducing clutter, adding meaningful objects, adjusting lighting, can completely transform the emotional energy of a space.